Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Deconversion Stories. And today I have the pleasure of chatting with my good friend Mike here, also known as Michael, like it says in the title. Mike, what I do here is I talk to people about how they found their way out of their religious beliefs. And I generally like to, hear that journey that you took. And when the dominoes fell, that started you realizing that this was all kind of bullshit, and eventually how that ended up for you, and how it affected your life and relationships and stuff like that. So kind of why don't you take us into the beginning stages and fill us in on how all that went. Oh, and already we've got coins. How do you like that? Huh?
All right, so I was born Irish Catholic, which automatically is when you're Catholic, when you're born Irish, you're almost automatically Catholic. So no biggie. I think the thing that probably helped me out more in the beginning stages is being born into a military family. So we're on the move a lot. I actually had to take a tour bus of the town I was born in because I didn't get the chance to see it for 18 years.
Wow.
So I was born in San Francisco, and it went until after I joined the Navy. I went back out there to San Francisco, and so this is where I was born. So being on the move kind of helped, but my parents, being religious, still try to get their corner of the universe in on me. So, of course, let's see. So, a lot of the changes happened right up until about grade school, and I was actually assigned to. Thank God we were military. I actually assigned to.
I'm sorry. Thank who?
God, yeah, I know, old expression, but no. Wait. I gotta wait until. Well, no, I can't put any other deity there. But yeah, whatever. It's an expression of a surprise. But yeah, I actually was assigned to second and third grade in Catholic school.
Okay.
Which that's usually when it comes to your education system, that's usually a founding start to everything that comes next. So I did the first Holy Communion thing. The Catholic nuns taught me how to be right-handed instead of left-handed. That wasn't good. But
wow.
Admittedly, there are some variables. The education system and their curriculum was better, but then you had to put with all the God nonsense. So it's just huge fight.
It still blows me away that they would try to correct left-handedness, to be honest.
They did. I can't write with my left no longer, thanks to a yardstick. Yeah, and then actually, if you look up and people talk these days as if a whole fake narrative is something new. But I found out much later in life that according to Catholics, they stopped doing that like mid-1800s. Well, it was 1973 when that happened to me. So that did not just suddenly quit happening because they said it did.
Right.
So even after that, finally my parents got tired of getting up and going to church. So they sent us to church on our own. Yeah, yes. So if they're playing hooky, we're going to start playing hooky. It didn't kill the whole what we've been taught thing, but we don't have to go there. So things definitely continued on that path. Now, when I got to Germany, I saw some, oh my goodness, great cathedrals. My curiosity in the religion was still a little there. I'm trying to figure out, my path in life because I was there 15 years to 17 years of age. So I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with my life.
Sure.
So I was studying,
At 15, who does?
Right. And then usually I'm told that, especially if you're Irish, your choices are cop, priest, or military. I have no idea why, but okay. So I did study a little bit right there, and I had some questions. So a lot of people don't know this about the Catholic Church, and a lot of people are having angst about, priests can't get married. They can all they actually can. They just can't get married west of Rome. Because then, no, I kid you not, west of Rome is considered missionary status. Now, Eastern Orthodox in Russia, they can get married. Rome, hey, that's the home court advantage. Yeah, you get married there. And if you are married before you enter the priesthood, you can stay married. But now this is where it gets kind of that doctrine dogma thing. According to Pauline writing, if you're on missionary status, it can cause hardship to have a family. And I can understand that. Even today, some of our missionaries are getting eaten by cannibals. So it's probably not a good thing to bring your family with you. But yeah, so they're going off to that old statement by Paul saying, no,
It's
that's
good if
bad
you're the
news.
cannibals.
Right. And feed some bellies on your way out, you know?
Yeah.
So, but by that time, of course, I'm interested in girls. And my dad's like, you know, they're not allowed to marry. And I'm like, what? So like, okay, well, that gives me some pause. And I'm like, okay, so I chose the other option. I went military. So 5 days after my 17th birthday, I was pounding gravel in Florida in basic training. Signed up like my dad did before me. He had signed up by 17, so I'm like, okay. And my mom had to talk him into it. Still, you know, things were not focused on religion so much, but I'm finding a certain difference even in job relationship. In the military, if you're in basic and you say you want to go to church on Sunday, you got time allotment, go to church. If you don't, get back to bumping those shoes or floors, whatever else.
Right.
So you got an ultimate excuse to get out of it. Like, okay, fine. Hit a couple more locations. Now, when I joined at 17, I joined out of Germany. And by the time I was 19, I made it around the globe.
Wow.
So I hit, yes, I was Hayes Grade underway. So at Florida, Chicago. Hold on a sec. Trigger. Okay, girl, shut up. So Florida, Chicago, right? She's got to be in on everything.
Rated by
California.
the fur babies.
Yep. One up in Australia. Actually, I got there a week before the ship did, and I kind of stayed after they left. That's a different story. I liked it that much, so I was going to stay. Hit the coast of Africa, come back. Well, during this time, okay, so there's not a lot of, in the military, one chaplain has to provide the service for many different denominations. So it doesn't matter if you were Baptist or ordained, you still got to be able to provide services for the Catholics. So it's like, okay. So I'm still trying to figure out my part in this whole scenario. And I met some people on board ship. Of course, it was a Baptist preacher. So I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. But I start studying more because now it's starting to get me interested. I got time on my hands. Actually, like the old Styx song, too much time on my hands. Yeah, so start studying some more. And I found out that, you know, it's one of the things that unless you really start studying into it, and this is one of the things that caught me off guard about later on, why it pushed me to study even more. There's great responsibility if you teach someone something wrong. There really is. You're not supposed to be teaching anything wrong. And I know this first-hand experience. I had a chief teach me something wrong at one school, and I went to another school, and it was a huge fight. Finally, the chief at the next school said, "Well, it's all theoretical. Have you ever seen it?" Oh, okay. And I got along with him after that. Well, somewhat. So, all right. So you got to be accurate. About that time, I got hold of a Jesuit text handbook. Oh, and
wait. Did you say a Jesuit sex handbook or?
No. Text, T-E-X-T.
Oh, text. Okay.
Although it would be interesting if it was the other, but no, those people don't know how. Yeah, okay, we'll leave that out there. No. So it's their study handbook, you know, because they go to college. Those are actually the most educated of the hierarchy in the Catholic Church. So you have just priests, and then you have upper echelon. You get to your cardinals, and most of your upper level in the Catholic Church hierarchy are Jesuits. They've actually been college instructed. So when I say a Jesuit handbook, I'm not saying, a missalette that somebody left in a pew someplace. No, they actually, this is what they learn and this is what they believe. So, okay. It wasn't enough to make me quit believing, but I read something called transubstantiation.
Yes.
I'm sure you've heard of that.
Yep.
Well, this is one of the things that first start making me question the reality of religion in the first place.
Sure.
But they're still aimed at the Catholic Church because it's their text, but it had something to do, seeing as God can do anything, we must believe he's back in the bread and the wine. I'm like, what? Now, admittedly, I never heard that as a parishioner. I never heard that growing up, personal communion, none of that. So, and it's not, as a ritual, you can blow it off, but they're actually saying this is actually happening every time, magically transmuted back into what? So it didn't really, that wasn't sit too well. No. I started learning electronics, which is starting to teach me a little bit about logic, which helps. And so on that note, I'm like, okay, starting to learn the Baptist way as well. I'm like, okay, they have a different version, of course, but in their version, the Catholics weren't first. They're actually founded by John the Baptist, not by Peter, Paul, and Mary. Just John. That's sorry for the music reference, but my phone's always, my head's always going to music. But
it's quite all right.
So yeah, they're like, okay. I'm like, all right, we'll think about this. So didn't do much more with it. You're always on the move with the military too. So until I got out. Now my first stitch was very short. Yeah, there was different rules as we were just discussing earlier about things the military didn't like about me already. I got out a bit early. Not due to that. I got a bit out due to what they say, not being able to follow along with the rules or something like that. Anyway, so
rule breaker.
Yeah, go figure. Yeah,
I can't see that, Mike. I can't see that.
No, but the 29 days correctional custody did actually help. And actually, that was for throwing off a couple of chiefs, but that's because of paper. That's a different story. Yeah, a little bit of rule breaker. So I get out, and I got, again, too much time on my hands. So I start studying under our local church. I actually helped build it. Not that I'm not good at it. When I built it, I was actually trying to hang drywall. Listen, there's a reason why I deal with computers. Just seeing some drywall hung. It was not good.
Oh, buddy, I've done the drywall thing myself. I know how hard it is.
And so I'm studying theirs too.
Do you ever have to put 5/8 board on ceilings?
Oh, no. Fortunately, it's only walls. I mean, even walls were bad enough. Just trying to get the line up. Oh, crap. So
I had to use pneumatic stilts when I did that, putting 5/8.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I mentioned this in any of our other conversations, but my call sign is NAPOD.
Oh, okay.
It literally translates to no apparent fear of death. Now, it's not because I am I am quote
like
maniac. But so it's a call sign is given to you by friends and family, not friends and family, friends or coworkers, and they're like, I was in that first aid class, and I don't want to distract too much, but give you a background in this first aid class. It's like, okay, who in here has had a concussion? Who in here has cut an artery? Who in here has been poisoned? Got electrocuted? So about half, and I had amnesia once, that too. And of course, at this time, I started creasing my head from a clobber and shoved in a trunk of a car. So my buddy looks over at me and says, NAPOD, that's you. No apparent fear of death. So incidents and accidents. And of course, I am very much a adrenaline junkie. So, okay, I'll go with that. Sure. Anyways, where was I? Oh, yes, I was back to just got out of Navy. So being from a different background and this may actually help some people, maybe if they study different denominations and then move on to different religions. So being from Catholic and now studying to be Baptist, there's some conflict here. So Catholic, you can definitely drink and you can dance. So they have those. They have bingo, but they don't want to call it gambling, but it's bingo. So on the Baptist side, or at least
is bingo gambling, really? Well, I mean, you do win stuff, but it's more of a
you pay into it, hopes you get much back. So I don't know.
All right, technically, I guess it would be gambling. Yeah.
So, but I do like dancing. I've been dancing my whole life. Danced as a sixth grader.
That's a long time to dance.
Oh yeah, I love dancing.
Oh, you didn't mean straight.
No. It keeps you healthy though. Yeah, it does. I mean, your body gets exercise, and your adrenaline goes up. Maybe this is how come some people like singing and hum-hawing in the church because it gets your endorphins going. But so on the Baptist side, we weren't allowed to dance. Now, Footloose, the movie, wasn't out yet, but that's kind of what it was like. It's like, what do you mean we can't dance? No. Okay, what about going to the beach? No, because that'll lead you to fornication or whatever, like lust.
Oh, sure.
What?
Sure it will.
I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Okay, so no drinking I get. Oh, wait a minute. So in Germany, I participate in this thing called square dancing. Now, at high school, I'm talking about professional square dancing. You actually had to learn 104 square dance calls. You really, even if you wanted to drink, you got to know all those calls because it can come up with whatever's next. So you got no time to get blessed. So I'm like, what about square dancing? No. So I pushed my preacher on this a little bit. And it was a good thing because he gave me the tools to study it myself. He's like, well, every time dancing is mentioned in the Bible, there was a calamity that happened afterwards. Really? So he gave me a Strong's Concordance. I had a good reference Bible, so I looked it up. Oh, this guy's full of shit. So 7 times, literally 7 times that, okay, after the dance was over, shit went to hell. Okay, fine. Now count the others.
Probably drinking too, so that's not surprising.
Right. And then 7 times, it didn't happen. So it's a 50-50 chance either way. Throw a coin. Oh, I think I just heard some. Maybe. Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, wait a minute. That doesn't make any sense. So no beach, no dancing. Catholics say, okay, you can have alcohol and dancing. Now I'm starting to feel kind of conflicted about this. So there's a couple of things that broke the chain of command structure, as it was, using military terms. My last question for the priest, I went and had a whole segment of questions for this guy that I researched. Mm-hmm. And my question for the priest was, and it has to do with intermediation. You know, like if I pray to Mary and she can pray to Jesus and Jesus can speak to God. All right. So wow. That's the whole prayer of intercession. That's how come they're saints. They're not theoretically praying to saints. They're actually asking the saint to pray for them. So you have the patron saint of traveling, the patron saint of whatever, dogs and cats. There actually is one. I don't remember his name. So you have these different saints.
Your patron saint of beaches?
That would have been good. I don't think they will worry about that in Ireland. But
no,
but yeah.
Well, they do have beaches, kind of.
So I pushed him on this because theoretically, like I said, I was studying the Bible. So theoretically, we only know a couple of people that actually transcended, went to heaven on their own. Mm-hmm. Enoch was one, but they won't talk about him. So I said, if I know my Uncle Joe went to heaven, and I know for sure in my heart he went to heaven, can I pray to Uncle Joe to get him to pray to Mary so she can pray to God, whatever, pray to Jesus, whatever? And the priest said yes. All the rest of my questions went away. I was done. I had a list of questions. I was done. I was just floored because even biblically it says we don't know who made it. It literally says no one knows who made it and who didn't.
Right.
Wait a minute. Okay. So that was a tiebreaker for the Catholic Church. It wasn't making me lose my left hand. It wasn't all the crap in between, I'm going to have to be celibate if I want to be a priest over here, but not over there. And admittedly on the Baptist side, they just proved that they're not being so correct biblically anyways. 7 times you can dance, 7 times you can't. All right. So those are things that start busting me away from the church. I wasn't done yet. I'm determined. But I continue studying the Bible. Now, sadly for me, this is long before the net. Oh my God, I could have been so out and
handy.
Yeah. Well, it turns out, and I was still doing essays back then. So at that time, I did not know the Gospels weren't eyewitness accounts. They're written out there eyewitness accounts. They said Jesus said, and Jesus says I said, and I'm like, well, that's got to be eyewitness accounts. Then I read what Paul said, and well, obviously Paul had to be the third party because he didn't say a whole bunch of things first person about what Jesus said. Mm-hmm. What? I'm like, wait a minute, that don't work. So I did my own essay. Now this is how far off base I was, and my essay still showed issues. But when I compared what the gospel said about Jesus, about his demeanor, about his character, he seemed to be like mostly, except for when he like tossed tables in the temple, etc. Mostly a kind of a non-judgmental, sort of almost a kind person for the most part. He didn't like the Pharisees or Sadducees, but who does?
Mhm.
So I wrote this whole little essay on that versus what Paul said about Jesus. Now, at that time, I actually did know Paul was, according to what my sources was, he was actually professionally trained in the Torah, which is currently the Old Testament. So he knew about a judgmental God, and it seemed like he tried to put that into what Jesus was talking about. Okay.
You don't have to be celibate to be a Baptist clergy, but you can't enjoy it.
Well, that's true, but that's another story.
Yeah.
And actually, I got one about that, but we can get into that later. On both sides, actually. But anyways, so my essay concluded that Paul hijacked a startup religion because his tales of what and who Jesus was so vastly different from what the gospel said they were. At that time, I didn't know about a whole bunch of other gospels and how none of these even saw Jesus, written about 70 to 80 years after he was dead.
Yeah.
Really? So I continually studied, and I found a whole lot more contradictions, and I put it aside again. It's more like this ebb and flow of life thing going on. Met my now ex-wife, and she was pretty much a new ager, which kind of broke my mind on that. I'm like, what the hey? What are you talking about here? Read the I was like, wait a minute. The Christos and the writings of Edgar. Have you heard of Edgar Casey?
Yes, I have. The Sleeping Prophet.
Right. So I learned about that. Matter of fact, our first vacation together was to the Virginia Beach location, etc. So it kind of broke my mind even more. So actually, it was religion itself that was breaking my mind of religion. But the more I studied it, the more, especially the different concepts, the more I realized, hey, wait a minute, they're all talking bullshit. And then, so finally I got to study a little bit of Buddhism, which actually doesn't have a god, although some of their subsects do. Hinduism, which supposedly Buddha left to Hinduism because of the caste system. He didn't like that they had archaic.
Apparently.
Horrible. Yeah, it was horrible. Religions as a whole doesn't seem to treat other humans very nicely, ever. If you're mad at their crew, okay, maybe. Now, maybe it was needed in tribal days. Maybe, I don't know. A lot of people defend it that way. But it doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't make any sense that we should still be defending it that way now. So, yeah, I'm a bit of a nerd. So as soon as I got net access, it was on. I mean, I haven't reached the end of the net yet, but I'm getting close. So, I think you said you had some questions for me. This brings me about up to where I am at. Although I give this much. I have listened to some of your shows, and of course, some of Matt's and a few others. And I realized I got a long way before I'm quite good at this. But I do debate with people online.
Oh, do you?
Now, yeah, on the Facebook side, sometimes on Twitter side, but not often because you only have a certain number of characters you can do. But on the Facebook side, in those groups, you can actually put a whole chapter in there. I've put a couple of my essays in there. I've got one on an essay I created on free will versus destination. Mm-hmm. I've got another one on no historical Jesus. And all these are coming from my studies. And I'm finding out there's more people out there that actually think like I do. As a matter of fact, I've been accused of studying these other people because of the way I think and talk. I'm like, well, maybe I need to go read some of these other views. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, just debate out there. So anyways, back to you. You had a couple questions for me, maybe?
Well, no. I what I had meant was we would be discussing some other topics other than the deconversion, right? So. Oh,
sure, absolutely.
Right. Like your military stuff like that, right?
Right. Well, my military stuff was interesting. Sign up big gunners make this because I want to go blow shit up. I wound up having a couple interesting sexual incursions while I was in the military, of course. What I was leaning to earlier, one was a Baptist preacher on board ship. It didn't dawn on me why he had a mattress in his little office until later. So I can tell you that people that are that theistically bound are not good. Anyway, so I start enjoying sex on both sides, women and men. And then at that time, you could get thrown out even for someone suggesting it. So if you were raped in the military and you went to try to tell someone you were raped, they would have the right to say, hey, I don't believe you. Go away. We'll canon you on this offense.
Unbelievable.
Then, as I mentioned, and I thought it was going to get better under DADT, but it got worse. So under Don't Ask, Don't Tell, even a hint that you were at the gay lesbian bar, even though they didn't see you there, they could still throw you out. More people were thrown out under that than before. That is nuts. They actually had a friend of mine in my 29-day excursion in correctional custody. I was sent there for telling off a couple of chiefs. I met a couple of girls in there, Navy gals. Right now, everybody's girls to me because I'm old. But yeah, but they were actually in there, and I don't know why you actually have to call someone to bust in on someone. So MPs, military police, busted in on this pair of Navy women doing their thing, and they wound up in correctional custody with me for doing their thing, because obviously oral sex is not allowed either, even though they were with their own sex. So that was not good. So I took a 20-year break in service, and I went back in. I was actually out for 20 years. I went back in, and some things changed, some things hadn't. But I had learned from my early experiences to keep close vested about who I am. So when I went back in, so I did try to tell them I'm an atheist when I went to get my new dog tags. They wouldn't let me do it. They actually put non-preferential. I had to go down and get my own dog tags printout that said atheist on it. Because they wouldn't actually because they wouldn't let me put atheist on my dog tags. It's just non-preference. No, that's not what I told you. Still close to the vest. And I had met Loopy when I went back in, and that's who I've been with for 20 years.
Awesome.
So, yeah. So, but I went back in on the computer side. So, on the Navy side, they're like, okay, here's your computer. Remember, I still want to blow shit up. So, the Army hired me out from underneath the Navy, bought up my contract so I can go from E5 to warrant officer. They handed my computer and my weapon. Yes. I got the best of both worlds. Go kill some stuff and my computer. But actually, they're part of the blame of how well I surf now. I actually got paid for surfing the net. On the Army side, on the Army side, I was part of what's called OPSEC, operational security. And I actually had to surf the net to find violations and pull them down. Because once you put anything out there, it's out there. And you got to find it and pull it down quick. Yep. They can still find a backup, but it's out there. And I have found some, because the type of violation we find. Okay, so what is OPSEC in a civilian term? Well, it would be like taking pictures while you're on vacation and broadcasting them. Well, now everybody in the world just knows you're on vacation. Hey, let's go hit this house. They're not there. So stuff like that. It's not classified. It's just
in age, though. It's a little different. I mean, people can try and hit your house, but a lot of times nowadays people say, they let their neighbors know that they're gone. They've also got cameras everywhere, so it's not really wise to do that. Yeah, it's gotten a lot better. So but I think a lot of that, and of course, while I went back in on the computer side, so I went back to school, got my education on logic, and now, that song. Well, you're probably almost as old as I am. Maybe you remember that song called the Logical Song, right? Yeah, of course. Supertramp,
right? And that was literally kind of the way my life went. Everything was, hey, it's great, nice roses and stuff like that. And now I'm thinking, hey, those roses need sunlight, water. So my mind switched over to more science nerd, and everything's all beauty and shapes. So, yeah. So that's where we're going. So, yeah, I still argue. Or I like to call it that. Now, they call them debate groups on the Facebook side. You ever go over there?
I try to stay away from Facebook as much as possible. I'm on Facebook, and I have like a gazillion friends on there. But Those groups, I don't. It's ridiculously silly to be arguing in those groups. If somebody wants to, like this Brett fella in the chat here, if he wants to come in and speak his piece, I'll address that sort of thing. By the way, Brett, most people don't choose their beliefs, Brett. They're either convinced of something or they're not. It's really just that simple. And I'm utterly unconvinced that any deities of any kind exist. And I don't believe in hell, because what the hell is hell? Like, where is it? What part of you goes there? If it's just your soul that goes there, then who gives a shit? You don't have nerve endings and you can't feel anything anyway. So who cares? But anyway, I don't believe in it anyways. It's all mythology to me, like all the mythologies that came before the Christianity, before Judaism, during those times. There's a whole shit ton of them. And I don't believe in any of them because they're all ridiculous. They're all made up nonsense. Anyways, back to you.
Okay. So sorry about that. I was trying to get to where I could see their questions. So I could probably answer them, but you're right. You don't actually choose your beliefs. You kind of brought up into them, as I saw in a relational video earlier. So if you look at where the major religions are, so if you're born in the Middle East, you're probably Muslim. You're born in India, right? Exactly. So. Yeah. Right. So a lot of it was what we were brought up to figure as true.
That's a better way to put it, because I was born Christian, but my family, I've met them since, but they gave me up for adoption and I was raised Jewish. So right there was a big, wait a minute to me, right?
Right. Wait a minute.
Just as the way, then why did God allow that to happen? So it's like, fuck off. It's all horseshit. So
yeah, it's very odd the way things, but I think that's all, like I said, so my early travels probably did help that, especially being around the globe and hitting Asia and Africa, seeing how other people lived and believed. It's like, wait a minute, there's a whole chain of different beliefs out there. And now you still are clinging on to what you've been taught because, hey, you know what? Why would your parents lie to you?
Oh, of course. Like, that's what we all think, right? When we grow up. But they were lied to, and it goes right down the line, right? It's not that they were lied to. They were just told things
that someone else thought was
they
true.
Believed and were convinced. Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, the problem is what's this? The wrong time to figure out that hell is real is if you die. Well, you know what? You know what happens when you die, Brett? Nothing. Life goes on, but you're just not part of it.
Ain't that a truth?
Okay. Do you remember what it was like before you were born, Brett? Because that's what it's going to be again.
Oh, yeah. Well, people
to tell kids that they're born in sin and they're going to go to hell, that's horrific in my mind. What kind of fucking loving religion does something like that? That's horrible.
Absolutely. That's just nuts. It's actually on the sense of child.
Broken. Fuck that shit. That's horseshit.
That truly is on the sense of child abuse right there. You're telling someone, hey, you're not worthy to be in this life. Yeah, that's just not good.
You're born broken, you need fixing, and I've got the fucking fix for you. Like, fuck off. Seriously?
Well,
I got two words for you. It ain't happy birthday.
One of the things that so basically the commentator just talked about Pascal's wager. Well, what if, yada, yada, yada. And I get that a lot. But, Pascal said some other things I don't think they realize. And this one actually says, men never do evil so completely and cheerfully as when they do it from religious conviction. So from religious conviction. If they can make you believe
atrocities, or if they can make you believe absurdities, they can make you commit atrocities.
Absolutely. So, and you just saw what I do there. The only reason why I primarily do Facebook debates, I would do them on Twitter too, but like I said, 145 characters, is I research. I have the world at my fingertips. And I capture all slights of parts of this all in my mind. So I know Pascal had another quote. I have to go find it real quick. So, yeah. Where was I? You remember where it was?
Yeah, we were talking about the military. You were, and how you'd go, when you left that and you found your now husband and all that, and how things have been going since then. Like, one of the things I wanted to know was after coming out as an atheist or whatever. How did that affect your relationships?
Well, it's the world is so diverse. It's hilarious. It did not come out good with my family because they're still devout Catholic. Right. But then again, they didn't want me marrying a guy anyways either. But you're right. But to throw things into a spin of a perspective, he must be thinking about me. My husband claims he's a pagan Catholic.
A pagan Catholic?
Yes.
Well, they did steal everything from paganism anyways. Well, Christianity in general did, so.
They did. I mean, so he's got his candles with his little saints on them, and he has his little books of basically they're not witchcraft, they're witchcraft. You write down what you want to say, what you want to think about, kind of like the meditating thing of New Age.
It's sort of Wicca. Like I was a Wiccan for a while, so.
Exactly. Yeah. So it did have some interesting effects on my family. My dad decided to find his way back towards the church, which I don't understand why. I love the man, but sometimes he makes no sense. He's the one that taught me about compassion, how he was in the military, and instead of killing someone he's told to kill, he wouldn't do it because it was totally unethical against his own beliefs. And now his beliefs are telling him one thing versus the crimes his beliefs are causing. So, I mean, like any church currently, it says, "Oh, God's about love," and they ignore what's going on at the border. Yeah, and they ignore what's going on at own border. I mean, come on. But you're going to say, "Oh, well, I'm pro-life." Oh, but you're not worried about the kids at the border. You just worry about some woman who.
No, they're pro-birth.
Yeah. Exactly. That's accurate statement.
Yep.
So when I came out to my dad, who, like I said, I always considered quite educated as atheist, I swear they need to issue a dictionary with their holy text. They shouldn't issue because he thought atheism automatically meant nihilism.
Yeah, well, some atheists are nihilists, but it's
not. Yeah, it's not synonymous.
It's nothing to do with atheism. Yeah, exactly. And, atheism deals with one thing and one thing only. Do you believe in God? No, I'm sorry, I don't. You're an atheist.
I saw someone on the net the other day say something about the contradictions in atheism. It's only one item. How can that makes no sense at all? So
I do and I don't believe. It's like what? No,
right?
There's no contradictions.
That's that whole cat in a box thing, right?
Schrodinger's cat, actually.
Right.
Is he dead or alive?
So,
actually, have you seen my Kinder Surprise shirt? It's Schrodinger's Surprise. It says 100% dead, 100% alive, and it's got a picture of the cat on there.
Oh, that's great. Depends on whether you fed him or not.
Well, no. See, we don't know that. We don't know if he's been fed. We don't know if he's drank the poison or the bomb went off or whatever version of it you've heard, right? So you don't know if he's dead or alive. There's no windows, no doors. I'm always like, how the fuck did they get the cat in there if there's no windows and no doors?
True. That's actually a good one.
It's like that old question, the glass of liquid is half full or half empty. Well, that depends. Were you pouring the liquid in or pouring the liquid out? Because if you're pouring it out, it's half empty. If you're pouring the liquid in, it's half full.
Right. And actually, if it's got that much water in it, you don't have room for booze. Cheers.
And if you don't know either way, you can say, well, technically, you're aiming to fill a cup with something, so it would be half full, technically.
Sure.
Unless I took a sip, then it's half empty.
Let me check my notes real quick, see if I missed something here. So, yeah, I have a couple of essays I've done so far. Free will versus predestination, biblical history, Bible morality, counter argument to actual priests, no historical Jesus, and a follow-up to no historical Jesus. So what I do is I try to put it in some sort of form because I heard one of your other guests mention that the other day, but they didn't have such titles when I was a kid. I might have been Asperger's. I don't have a really good verbal communication skills, but if I put it down in paper, I can argue death out of somebody, word warrior, whatever, but I got to figure out what I want to say.
Sure.
So that's how I come up with some of these. And like I said, all this is my own research. So I really probably need to read what the professional said. But that really doesn't help over there on the Facebook site anyway, because none of those people are professional anyway. But I do a lot of research, and I come up with the whole concept to put on paper. Like in my bottom line on free will versus predestination is they're 100% complete and total opposite concepts. In the science of sound, if you have a match in frequency, absolute and opposite, it's called frequency cancellation. So maybe we need a different term because that doesn't make any sense.
Yes, it does.
So
when frequencies meet, they cancel each other out if they're the same frequency. But if one's slightly higher, it overpowers the other frequency. That's just how sound works.
So these are equal and opposite. They both can't seem to exist at the same time. Either you have one or you have the other, but it doesn't seem to make sense you have both. Don't work. So yeah, things like that. I'm still working on it. I still need to. I'm still getting my clues, my hints on how to discuss these things. The funny thing about arguing on the Facebook side is some of the things you come up against. Now you do come up against some really bad arguments, but the fight is on because, like I said, all these people will want to Bible thump at me. I'm actually damn near professionally trained. So I was arguing with the woman early on this year. She was throwing these verses at me. That was female. She's throwing these verses at me. So I caught up 1 Timothy 2:11, which says women should not argue. She got me.
Yeah, they're not supposed to teach. Not supposed to. Yeah.
Right. So she got me thrown off of Facebook for supposedly bullying. I just put the quote right back at her. It was a biblical quote. She's throwing them all at me. I threw one back. Oh, suddenly he's bullying. That's your Bible. How come it never
works? How come it never works when we try to get them kicked off for quoting the Bible?
Right? But supposedly I'm bullying. All right. No. That was actually, I don't have to, life is so funny. I don't have to make shit up. I go find stuff. As a matter of fact, my life's been silly that way. I'll throw this out there. When I mentioned earlier about having sexual relations with the Baptist preacher on a ship, several decades later, I actually had sexual relations with a priest. Now, no, I kid you not. I wasn't a kid. It was adult. They were an adult.
Dog you.
Yeah, well, I was quite the slut back in the day. And yeah. So so I met this other guy like decades later. Go on, girl. And so people ask me about things like that. I'm like, well, the only thing they had in common is they were both bad in bed. They don't have it. They might have creativity as far as their God is concerned, but when it comes to sex, it's like, dude, turn out the lights. So, yeah. So, okay.
Well, that's about as much about sex with priests as I need to hear, to be honest.
No. I hear you. No. But like I said, I wasn't some juvenile or nothing like that, and obviously he wasn't either. No, it's my family. Still coming to terms with the fact that I'm an atheist, still having trouble with the fact that I'm bi and / or gay, whatever they want to call me, married to a man, which they're definitely like, no, what happened to your ex-wife? You talk about the one that threw shit at me, the one that tried to beat me up and cut you guys out of my life? No, not that one, right?
She's evil.
And sadly, the only thing that's got them a little bit off my case is now I have a Navy family member who's now a MTF niece.
What's that?
MTF, male to female transgender niece. So she is going through the hormone treatment. Eventually, she wants to become full-on female. Exactly. Well, sure. You can imagine it, right? So that just drew the targeting off of me, which I feel bad for because no one in my family is calling her.
You stand up for her, though, right?
I do, as best I can, and I get shot down every time.
Just keep doing it.
Yeah,
she's still a human being, no matter what. Bottom line, still a human being. And if you can't respect another human being, then I don't know what else to tell you, but
there you go. And then these attitudes are coming from these people who are supposedly all about love and the Christian God, and he's going to forgive you forever and ever, amen, yada, yada, yada. No, this is not. This is a hypocrite. So this, even if a person doesn't see all the fallacies biblically, doesn't see the contradictions between Bible and science, the sheer hypocrisy of religions and how they treat their fellow humans should be enough to say, I don't want to be a part of that. I would think that'd be enough to get a lot of people watching. And I think it is. I saw an article recently that said that the U.S. is becoming a more nuns than anything else. Nuns as an N-O-N-E.
Yes. Non-believer group is growing.
And a part of that, I think, and I think a big part of that is, sadly, it's not our education system. It should be. It's not. It's more about the hypocritical nature of what these people are doing. Now, would it be enough soon enough? Well, one of the reasons why I'm arguing with people daily is my concern for the future is we have too many fundamentalists, religionists in power with money backing them. This is how number 45 got in there. And if we are not careful, we could wind up becoming a third world theocracy. That's my most horrible vision of the future for the U.S., not as a world, because we could do some changes there. But
I used to have a bumper sticker that said the last time religion and politics got together, people were hung in trees and burned at the stake.
That's accurate. I had to answer a question like that just today. Someone said, well, why are atheists mad at theists? And I'm like, really?
I'm mad. It's not the people, it's the beliefs. As a matter of fact, this Brett Waskilo's guy actually put something in the chat that I was going to address earlier, but I didn't at the time. Respecting I believe you, or I'm not trying to force anyone to believe. I respect your beliefs. Brett, you don't have to respect beliefs. Beliefs are merely ideas, and ideas do not necessarily deserve respect. All right? Like, I'm sure you don't respect the beliefs of ISIS or the Nazis or Jim Jones. I'm pretty sure you don't respect their beliefs. You don't have to respect beliefs. You respect people. Beliefs are just ideas. That's my point.
No, and I agree. And sadly, and I think this is also still part of what was ingrained in us, is people can't separate who they are from what beliefs they espouse. So if a person says, well, like even in the Christian world, like, oh, I'm a Catholic or I'm a Baptist. Well, they're separating them. They're saying, this is me. That's not you. That's your beliefs. That's your ideals. You are a human and you have the right to be treated as one, but your beliefs may be off. If you're a member of the KKK, it's on, shit like that. So,
yeah, I don't respect their beliefs. That's for sure.
I heard a recent discussion here about what happened with some Holocaust non-believers. Like, unfortunately, we got one that's elected somehow. No, I was in Germany. I have been to those places. It happened. They didn't just set up a false building and said, oh, it might have happened here. No, those places still think like the chemicals they used. It's horrible. We should never forget, ever. And these people that are deniers like that, one of them is that, and I can't, you know what, people want to say it's because she's a high school dropout. Well, I am too, and I don't think that you have to believe that way. I'm a high school dropout with a college education. I went back to school. I don't think you have to limit yourself to a non-knowledge. How did we become a society where we idealize ignorance? That's what's going on.
I don't know.
That it doesn't make any sense.
Did someone say ignorance? I thought I heard my name being called. Someone said ignorance, and I was just popped into here. Hello.
Well, we've got a Brett, a Bible believer in the audience, which I'll never understand that, considering everything in the Bible has been demonstrated as being nonsense. So, like, there was no Exodus, there was no flood, there was no Eden, there was no, like, I could go on. Like, there would be evidence for all of this, and there just isn't any. No. And you cannot use the book as evidence for the book, because that's just a circular argument.
Thank you, Tons of Mice. I was about to give you the order to do it anyway. Yeah, he's done. Bye, Brett. You're
Why?
done.
Wait, well, why?
He
seemed nice enough. He's like, you guys could have your beliefs. He wasn't a hostile believer, that's for sure. He was just stating his case. I don't think we need to ban somebody like that.
Well, he's in timeout, so we'll see how it happens. He just started talking about different protected classes that he has no affiliation with, which she should probably shut up about because we're very tolerant, but we're also very protective. So
it's his right to disagree with all that stuff if that's what he wants to do. But he's been taught incorrectly, and that's why he disagrees with it.
Yeah. Too bad, Brett.
Yeah, it is.
You'll wake up someday, Brett, and you'll remember this day, and
I hope so.
You'll feel really weird about it, but just know that we're ready for you to stop being.
I hope one day I get to interview him on here, and he'll find, you know what, man, I was so wrong. Yes,
I do have a note on that, and it's a matter of our change in time and our opinions. So my great-granddad, who is WW2 in Korea, was actually a church-going, everyday SOB from hell. He thought Archie Bunker was a liberal. So when my great-aunt,
what?
Yes,
really?
I kid you not. He thought that guy was far too liberal.
I
so
will
my
say
great-aunt,
Bunker was the funniest bigot on TV at the time.
Yeah, he was. But because he thought it was so real, I was pissed because this guy's thinking this is real. Well, I had many problems with that as a kid because my great aunt, yes, Anglo like me, married a black dude, and she lived in New York. Mm-hmm. And then my brother,
dare you?
Yes, and then my brother David, his brother was full-blooded Hopi. So then I got uncle who married a German gal. Huh?
I said that's very cool.
Yeah, uncle married German gal, uncle married Japanese gal. So we basically got a United Nations in our own family, and he's still going to go on with this. Oh, I go to church every day.
We
so he gets out of church. Yeah.
We are the children.
Come on, Mikey. You know that the devil writes all rock songs.
And everybody had a Pepsi after that.
But I thought they did them backwards or something, right? Those masking traps.
I could just see Beelzebub down there in the bowels of hell going, I need a new song. We are the world. We are.
That's because all the rock stars put this.
Let me call Michael Jackson. I have him on speed dial.
You know, it's not my type of music, really, but I saw him live, and he's pretty fucking amazing live.
You saw MJ?
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Nice.
On the Victory Tour. With the giant fucking robot spider and shit. It was great.
I never saw that one.
Mikey hates me now.
I didn't know that until just now, and I'm a little jealous.
It was a pretty damn good show, buddy. It was 85, I
think. Nice.
It's not fair. That's all I'm going to say. It's not fair. I'm not crying. I'm just allergies.
Hey, you know what? I can't help that my cousin owned the production company that brought all the major acts through here. So we used to get free tickets to everything.
Well, one ones you guys might like that I went to was the Elton John, Billy Joel concert. Also,
I've seen them both.
Mid-90s. Oh, my God. And they were both on stage at the same time, sharing each other's music. Just, I'm
going to say I liked Billy Joel better than I liked Elton John, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I went to Elton John because I think my sister or somebody wanted to go, and I had to go because I was older. So I do dig some Elton John, don't get me wrong, but I was much more of a Billy Joel fan than I was Elton John. And I saw them separately; they weren't together. But
you know what's absolute shit.
What?
And fellow musicians around the world, don't take this the wrong way. There's not a lot of like superstar, crazy, heavy rock acts around anymore. They're just not like the 80s. The 80s, you could fucking throw a stick down a fucking hallway and hit 15 fucking Hall of Famers. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not the case anymore. Like, I don't want to see Falling in Reverse. Sorry. I want to see like someone older, but they're all gone. Like, it's
well, some of them are still touring.
Yeah, but it's not the same. It's like Ozfest. Like, they wheel Ozzy out there for like the last 15 minutes. And he just kind of
come on, man. Sabbath is my all-time favorite band. Come on.
Yeah, but Zach Wilde will come out and he'll shred some shit up, but it's not
I met Zach.
Ozzy. You know what I mean? It's not Ozzy.
I met Ozzy too, but yeah. Well, I worked at a record store, man. It was funny because Zach came
experiences with me right now. Yeah, that's cool stuff.
I worked for a company called Sam the Record Man, and this greasy blonde-haired dude comes walking. He's got fucking bell bottoms in, and this was during the '90s, and bell bottoms weren't cool in the '90s. And he comes walking in, and he's got this torn up fucking striped collared shirt on there, and he picks out 2 cassettes because you could get CDs, but he got 2 cassettes, and I remember them to this day: Best of Stevie Nicks and the Archangels, Rycooter Project, which is fucking phenomenal. If you haven't heard the Archangels, I highly recommend you get that.
Hold on.
And he threw that down, and then he puts down this platinum fucking American Express or Visa or some shit. And I pick it up and I go, ooh, platinum. And I look at the name. It says Zachary Philip Wilde. I'm like, wait, like Ozzy's guitar player, Zach Wilde? He goes, yeah, that's right.
He does a full-on Scooby-Doo.
And I'm like, why are you buying cassettes? Yeah, for the road. Kind of thing, right? He doesn't want to buy CDs. So, and then I rang him through and I said, so where are you going to meet Ozzy right now? He goes, yeah, he's just over at the muffin shop. And I threw out my keys on the counter and I'm like, Steve, I'm taking my coffee break. And I went overnight and I hung out with Ozzy and Zach.
Nice.
Well, maybe
this is before Ozzy sounded like, he could actually speak.
Maybe he was like, okay, I have a CD player, but the tour bus only has cassettes, and the fucking driver is trying to learn Portuguese. And if I have to listen to these fucking tapes, I'm going to lose my mind. Give me some.
Well, they were recording. You know, that's the one "Mama, I'm Coming Home" song. They were recording that song in a little studio around the corner from the mall I worked in.
Huh.
In somebody's basement that they recorded it in Richmond, where I lived, like Richmond, British Columbia at the time. Yeah.
That's cool.
Brian Stevens, what is a cassette? Remember that thing you had to put your pen in there to wind it sometimes if you didn't have the
right. If it spins out.
So I literally said this earlier today. Children born, I don't know, after 1990, maybe a little bit later, they don't have a working definition of what rewind means. Because rewind to them, like, it's always been like a DVD or like online, and it's just
the back button on the remote.
It makes you go backwards on the timeline.
Yeah.
They have no concept that it used to be in a cassette because they've never had a cassette. They've always had DVDs and they've always had the internet. They've never had cassettes. So rewind, like a phone ringing, doesn't mean anything the same way in what it actually stands for. Does that make sense?
It's dial-up internet.
Watch the old movie War Games.
Yeah, War Games. Yeah. That's when you actually had to put the phone in it, though.
Yes, absolutely.
You didn't actually have a modem yet.
I used to work on some of those reel-to-reel mag tapes. Not necessarily in a room like that, but yeah, that was
I still have a reel-to-reel around here somewhere.
Right.
I had what do you call it? I had some half-inch tape and 3/4 inch tape. Machine that.
And
you can play both.
So when kids listen to Bohemian Rhapsody, they have to remember that there wasn't an easy way of doing every track.
No,
the fucking
54 fucking layers of Freddie Mercury were. It's But I had a couple questions for you. Since you are a man of the military cloth, favorite port? Got to pick one. Sorry, hate to do it to you. What's your favorite port?
Ooh, oh man,
you
that
can
one
only
is a tough
pick
one.
Are you talking about the port that you drink, or?
Yes. No. What is your favorite port shitty wine?
No.
Cooking sherry.
I would most assuredly pick Perth, Australia. I mean, I left Germany as a kid, and by the time I hit Perth, Australia, I was an adult, and that was most surely probably the best port I've ever been in. It was great.
Fun there? Perth is Perth on the west or the east coast? West coast.
It's on the west.
Oh.
It took me 26 flight hours to get there, and I did it all my 13-button dress blues.
Wow.
Don't travel in wool. Don't do it.
My! Wool in the 80s.
Sticky.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm like, find me a shower. It's horrible, but the port itself was great. So yeah.
Oh my!
It's really, really
I
good.
couldn't imagine. Like if I have to fly more than 2 hours, they're lucky I'm wearing anything except like a blanket. Because I need a maximum comfort. Just tamale me up, and then I will sit in my chair and not move.
Well, another note on that: if you ever go to Korea, don't pick a window seat because it was about 18 hours, and I had the sun setting the whole way. Because as the world's spinning, the sun's spinning too, and shutting that little blanket.
What are you talking about?
It does not help.
No.
It does not help. You shut that blind. Oh, too much light. So, yeah.
Wow.
Right.
Oh, I never even thought. Because it's like when you're doing a road trip and you're like, all right, well, so and so's driving. So and so's driving. I'll sit on the other side, and you accidentally pick the sun side. All right, we're on our way back. I'll pick this side, the opposite side. You're like, fuck, no, and it's too late, and you just cook both ways.
Yeah.
Oh,
Somebody put a fork in me. I'm done.
What was the dumbest thing you ever bought at the PX?
Oh Lordy. You know, I don't even know if I got an answer to that. Usually all I picked up at the PX is booze. So that part of Irish State, I can still do that. I'm just kicked out of church. That's a different story. but yeah, no, I can't think of anything offhand that I picked anything. I'm not really a big person to purchase stuff. I probably should have been, because now I got no proof I was around the world. But I really was. But at 19, you should have heard me.
Memories.
Well, at 19, you should. Well, even that one's gone. So at 19, you should have heard me try to tell people I've been around the world. They're like, "You liar." I tell people that now, and they're like, "You should have, you old fucking bastard." So yeah.
Well, there's only
time.
There's only one thing for it.
Mm-hmm.
Got to re-enlist and do it again. Let's go, baby. Get the pen out. We're gonna sign them papers. You're going back around. No, you can.
The two of you guys, it could be the Mikey World Tour.
Well, I took a break in. I took a break in military life for 20 years. So when I got back in, the brain's like, "Yeah, I got this," and the body's like, "What the fuck?" So yeah, I tried to do that again.
The brain's like, "I'm sorry, everybody. He said he had that. He did not have that. He's feeling himself. He's having a moment."
Lies, lies! I tell you.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll watch. Look at him.
And when
Breathe.
I switched branches from Navy back to Army, I had to go back through another basic.
Oh,
so at 40 plus years old, about 44-ish, I'm pounding ground with these kids in another basic that I haven't done basic since I was 17. I'm like, body's like, okay, I think this is this is pretty much
body's like, I don't know if I can do this shit anymore. What are you doing?
Right.
I mean,
get your ass behind a desk, Gramps.
If you're doing clerical stuff, they should be like, how fast can you staple? I need you to be able to staple. Like, I'm going to give you a ream of paper, and it's going to be.
You need to know how to quickly collate things.
Yeah, every 5 pages, I need a staple. So you got to flip, staple. Get them muscles together, because that's. I'm trying to help.
Fingers and forearms there.
Just like Popeye, just bulky. This is my stapling arm.
Imagine getting a Purple Heart for that. You wound up stapling your hands to the paper.
Paper.
No, I wouldn't tell anybody about that.
It's one of those staple hammers. Like, fuck that shit. Just nail the damn thing. Staple hammer that shit.
Right.
That's actually a really good name for a song. Paper Cut Purple Heart. I'm gonna just write that down and save that for later. I don't really have too much else. I want to do. Oh, here. I guess I could just pull it up on the screen, couldn't I? I'm smart. I am smart. SMRT. You don't want that, bro. You do not want to.
Sure.
I did a pub crawl in Key West, and that was pretty awesome at 8 o'clock in the morning. It was awesome. Met a retired cop from California out there, and he's doing the tour of this pub crawl at 8:00 in the morning on Key West.
What
Really?
the?
Yeah. So he retired from the cops.
No. This kind of like that's master material, 2-inch reel to reel.
Right? That's be a good retirement job. Retire to pub
Shit's
crawl.
expensive.
I could be a professional pub crawler. I like.
Yeah.
A couple of nights ago, me and the missus got a little bit into our cups. Well, this is what's left.
Nicely done.
And I only had that much. And then I woke up and went to work in the morning, and she was not in great shape. But I'm just saying, JR, I don't want to be the reason that everything goes bad for you, because I don't have a lot of skills, but drinking I'm very good at, unfortunately. And thank you, Brian, for catching my Simpsons reference. I appreciate that. I don't do them often, but when I do them, I hope they're well received. Yeah, that's all I had. And then, and not too much on the religion side, because I kind of had like a similar experience where I was like, oh, okay, so this is what our religion says. Did we think about this part? How about this part? And then like I had I'm in like the youth Sunday school jam, and I'm just like sitting there, we're all hearing this stuff, and then there was a kid, they were talking about like forgiveness or something like that, and he's like, yes, we're supposed to be forgiving and da 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 da. That's what the teacher was saying. And this guy's like, well, my cousin just died. Somebody just fucking shot him in the fucking head. You're talking about I'm supposed to forgive that guy? And he's like, well, the Lord says that we're supposed to. And he walked out. Homie walked out. He says, like, this is some fucking bullshit. I ain't fucking listening to that. And he walked out. And then as soon as the door closed, he goes, and see, that was the devil talking. I'm like,
oh, jeez.
I'm like, you just hurt the fucking guy's feelings. His fucking family member's dead. And you said, yo, yeah, forgive him. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I was like, oh, okay, I know something's up.
There probably already is a whole book out there on things they don't teach in Sunday school. But a good comeback on that one would be, what about that time when the Lord sent 2 bears to eat 42 kids because they laughed at your prophets? Well, do what? It's like, wait a minute.
God could have really just grew his hair back, and then he would have never been made fun of in the first place.
True. I mean, he could do everything, right?
He would have known that the kids were going to make fun of him. He could have grew the guy's hair back, and then he wouldn't have to deal with all this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you could have.
Amazing.
Or maybe he would have never gone bald in the first place. He would have gone bald after the children interacted with him.
Maybe he could have had a better sense of humor about it, like I do.
Guys, it's all fucking bullshit. That's why.
So
it's horse shit.
When I found out I was going bald, I started saying bald jokes. So one is, if you go bald up here, you're a thinker. And if you go bald back here, you're a lover. If you go bald all over, you just think you're a lover. So I just started saying bald jokes when I realized this was going away. So yeah. Oh, look, he's going just down. Actually, might be the hats that make it go away. I don't know. So yeah. I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff like that. Now, I mean, I got little sections, all these memes saved up, and a couple of them just listed as Bible porn. Like when what's their face was talking about the missions of a horse, hung like donkeys and the missions of a horse. Well, that's something you're not going to hear on Sunday school. Like, really? What? No. Stuff like that. What are
emissions?
And what does it mean, hung like an ass?
What do you mean? They used to hang their horses? I don't get it.
Right.
Maybe they're talking about the reins. They hang the reins. They hang them on the. Yeah. That's gotta be what it is.
Gotta be.
That's gotta be what it is.
And if your horse has emissions, put a muffler on it or catalytic converter. I don't know.
You gotta put a cat on it.
Greenhouse gases, holy cripes. The early days of global warming.
Yeah, it's all their fault. It's all those damn emissions.
Something had to cause the flood.
Oh, gosh. Here we go.
Anyway.
All right. I got to pull the plug on this conversation.
Can we start selling firmament pieces that we find on Expedition? Like, we'll just go on vacation somewhere and then come back,
chunks of glass,
and then we'll sell it to them as pieces of firmament. $1,000 per square.
We were on top of Mount Ararat and found a bunch of chunks of firmament up there.
W.C. Fields is one born every day, right?
Yep. P.G. Barnum. Yeah,
that's who it was. P.T. Barnum, right?
Can't fool all the people all the time.
You know, there's the funny thing now is if you look up the whole thing about P.T. Barnum, did he really say that? People aren't even sure that he actually said that. They attribute it to him, but they can't show that he actually did.
There's quite a few things like that out there.
Yep.
Terry Beebe, I think you know what I'm talking about, Neil. He's on our He said something like, "Okay, they're gone. He or she is gone. Let's talk about them." And I just happened to be opening Facebook at that exact moment. I'm talking about it's 2 minutes into after he posted the thing. And I'm like, gimmick infringement. I caught him. The algorithm gods blessed me that day, and I caught him in the eye. I was like, gimmick infringement. He's like, what are you talking about? You didn't say that first. I was like,
well, I don't know if we'll ever know who said that first, but
it's mine now.
Right.
You definitely own it these days.
It's mine.
Equine emissions are better than yours. My religion's equine emissions are better than yours.
Equine or bovine?
Bovine, equine.
Yeah,
swine.
Horses are cows, pigs,
Are goats
they're all
horses?
edible.
Are goats horses or cows?
No, they're not kosher. Right. Wait, is it goats? Yeah, no, it's goats that aren't kosher. That's right. Cloven hoof. That's right.
Right.
But they are delicious.
Oh, yeah.
I've had goat. Yeah, goat's pretty good.
Euros?
I've had monkey,
No,
I've had
that's
monkey
lamb.
meat.
Lamb is, yeah.
I've had monkey meat and rodent. So
Yeah,
only
yeah,
someplace I've been.
That was the other thing. I forgot to write it
If
down.
you've ever eaten Indian food, there's a good chance you're eating goat.
No.
What's the craziest thing you've eaten in your travels across the world? Besides the monkey meat. Because you already gave that one away. So now you got to come with another one.
Well, I think it'd be a toss
What was her
between...
name?
Oh, well,
Neil!
I'm sorry.
I think it'd be a toss between the Vegemite and... Actually, you know what? The rodent
brave
wasn't that
motherfucker.
bad. The rodent wasn't that bad. Balut, if you ever get a chance to try that, don't. Have you seen what balut is? It's a fermented
I've
egg.
eaten beluga.
I won't go there. No, it's not.
What? Beluga?
You want to tell him, Neil?
The whale?
Go ahead.
Yes, the whale.
Oh.
No, it's not the whale. I'm talking about
Oh,
balut.
see,
I'm
I've
talking
had
about,
beluga whale.
no, I'm not talking about fish eggs. I'm talking about balut, which is a
Balut.
duck
balut.
egg. Yes.
Right. Oh, no.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
You're talking like the century egg?
It's a duck egg that's been
no.
Fertilized?
what's the word? Yeah, and then
Fermented.
it's removed from its source.
No,
yeah, and
fertilized.
it's fermented. It's both. It's fertilized first, and then it's fermented, and then you eat that. No, that's something you want to avoid. I'd rather eat the monkey meat or even
The rats.
Yeah.
Bring me the teriyaki rats, please. I'm not eating that shit again.
Or like that Faces of Death movie where they eat the monkey brains.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Chilled monkey brains.
No. It's alive, and they crack the skull and then they peel it off. And
Oh
they eat the brains.
no.
Yeah.
Wow, it's alive?
It's alive. Yeah.
Oh jeez.
Oh, come on, people. Grow up, you nasty.
At least kill it first.
Yeah, it doesn't
They
wanna-
do when they hit it in the head. The ladies are there like, I don't know if I could do this. And then the guy's like, oh, crack. Splits open the skull. They
geez.
start eating the fresh brains, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's on the Faces of Death movie. Yeah.
Bruh, bruh.
The first one. There's like 4 of them, or 4 or 5 of them.
I'll pass.
Yeah.
I had a big lunch. Couldn't fit a single
I'd like to
piece of
keep
monkey
it
brain.
in.
Couldn't fit a single piece of monkey brains in here, but I will take some more bottled water.
There you
Come
go.
on. It's wafer thin. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I had. Good
All
show.
right. All right.
Well.
Yeah. Because I'm sick, so I'm going to go back to bed
Yeah.
and watch some more Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Get to
Season
feeling better
5.
soon.
Yeah, thanks, man. I tried to work today, didn't make it all the way through. I came home. It was worse yesterday, but I should be okay by tomorrow, Thursday, but for sure. So I should be back to my normal jovial self by Thursday. And Mike, in lieu of tonight, if you are available for Thursday night, you can jump into the after party on Thursday with us.
Oh, okay.
If that's all right with you. You've been in one already. So
Those are a lot
you're
of
welcome.
fun.
Yeah, they are. Everyone in the chat, you guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out with us. I'm glad you turned out for tonight's show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun towards the end there, of course. Quite the interesting story as well. Also, thanks to my amazing, wonderful patrons. Fireworks. You guys are awesome and really the reason why I'm actually able to do this. So thank you very much for everything you do. And real quick, Randolph and I will be starting up that show soon at some point. True North Talk, if you want to learn more, go to www.truenorthtalk.ca and you can go over to the channel and sub if you haven't already. And I'm also one of the newer co-hosts of the revamped and relaunched Nonprofits. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's one of the ACA products that airs between Talk Ethan and the Atheist Experience at 3 p.m. Central. Mikey's been a guest on there. I've done it a few times. I've been on a hiatus lately because of my vein thing and my mom. This just seems to be one reason compiling after another. So Johnny's like, dude, I'm going to put you on hiatus for now. And so I'll be back in time once everything sort of settles out. Anyway, yeah. So, and then the last Saturday of every month, myself, Andy, and Seamus. Andy does the Laughing at Disbelief channel, and Seamus is part of the Free Thought Prophets. If you're unfamiliar with those guys, check them out for sure. We get together last Saturday of every month, usually, or the first if we miss the last Saturday because of like Andy's birthday or something lame excuse like that. 2 p.m. Pacific time, and we always have a guest with us. We've had Mikey on the show, and last one we had Bionic Dance with us. Kate Farr, and she's amazing. She's awesome. She's a very good friend of mine now. So if you missed that one, I recommend you check that out. I recommend you check out the one we did with Mikey too. They're a lot of fun. Actually, they're all really fun, and they go on for about a couple hours. And if you're bored and you already watched all the cartoons you can handle on that Sunday, then come on over and check out the show. It's 2 p.m. Pacific. All right, guys. Thanks again, and thanks again, Mike, for being my guest tonight, man. It's great chatting with you.
Thanks.
Hey, Neil.
And I've been fighting the urge to give you a pirate name this entire time, by the way. The patch.
Yeah.
The name Rudder has been taken.
Okay.
Name Rudder. I was going to call you Smee, but
that's a good one.
I may do an after party if enough people DM me. If I can get
I was going to suggest that. You know what I need to do also before I close out? I need to thank my amazing producer.
Oh, shut up. Shut up.
Right here. No, dude, since you've come on board, things have been a lot smoother and we have a lot more fun. So thank you, Mikey, for everything you do.
Well, thanks, Mikey. Thanks for giving me the opportunity, you big, sexy man, you.
Mikey, did you want me to hang out for the after party, or how you want to work that?
Yeah, you can chill with them, but I'm just not tonight.
Yeah, Neil needs to get some rest.
Absolutely.
He claims to be this person who sleeps like an hour and a half a night, which is true, which is why he's not doing well. He needs to go to bed tonight. And we have this joke where he's like, all right, guys, I'm going to start wrapping this up, and we'll keep him going for like
the 45
minutes, hour and a half, and we laugh, and then we go back and we go to sleep, and then Neil's up in an hour and a half after we're done with him. So it's not.
If I even sleep, you fucker.
I think we kind of have planted the seeds for Neil to be a little ill because we have robbed him of at least 100 hours of sleep over the last year. So
that'll do it.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, but if you guys want to hang out, we'll do it on my channel. Just hit me up on Twitter, and then I'll fire up a meeting.
Okay? Mikey, I don't have your ID on Twitter.
Oh, I'm gonna get you, big guy. Don't you worry about that.
All right,
I'm gonna get you.
I don't know. Might have something to say about that.
See you on the flip side. That's true. Let's see on the flip side then.
Don't leave.
All right, guys.
Don't leave.
Don't leave yet.
All
It's
right,
okay.
so-
I haven't hit the end music. It's okay. You're fine. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you guys next time. Or, oh yeah, like the late great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. Now we'll see you guys next time. Cheers.